Good afternoon, students and teachers. Please stand by for the live stream. Please sit tight and we'll get started here in just a few more minutes. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Deb Holland, and I'm honored to share a few words during this year's Discovery Festival. The 6th Annual Discovery Festival, hosted by Big Brothers Big Sisters, has become a wonderful tradition, providing a wide array of opportunities for New Mexico students to discover the future of STEM. New Mexico is home to many historic and consequential scientific breakthroughs, discoveries that range from revolutionizing the way we'll power the cities of the future to expanding our ability to explore the cosmos. This year, for the first time, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central New Mexico is hosting Discovery Fest virtually. I'm amazed at how many events and presentations this team has put together under such challenges this year, and I'm delighted to see that a record number of New Mexico students will join the fun and the learning of Discovery Fest. New Mexico is an amazing home for technology, and our kids are in a great position to learn more and take advantage of our state's unique and important role in the national tech space. In Congress, I support expanding STEM. Opportunities like Discovery Fest and fighting for resources for your incredible teachers, because I know how important science, technology, engineering, and math will be for our future. I want to let you all know about my annual Congressional App Challenge that invites students to come up with one-of-a-kind apps and have their app displayed at the national level. Students learn to code, manage a project, and learn more about technology. In that spirit, I'm thrilled to welcome this future generation of innovators, inventors, and explorers, and all the incredible teachers developing these bright young minds to this year's event. Our beautiful state of New Mexico, America, and frankly, our whole world's future will be counting on the creativity and innovative spirit of you young people. So I want to encourage all the future physicists, researchers, biologists, and engineers watching right now to keep reaching for the stars. Learn all you can, and most of all, have fun at this year's Discovery Fest. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Holland, for your wonderful words of support. My name is Will Tapia, and I'm the advancement coordinator for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I'm responsible for putting on this event year to year. So I'm going to talk just real quick about what the event looked like in 2019, then of course what the event looks like here in 2020. So in 2019, Discovery Festival was a one-day event held at the Albuquerque Convention Center. We had about 3,000 students from all across central New Mexico who descended on the convention center for this one-day event. We had about 50 plus exhibitors from various areas of STEAM. And STEAM, as we all know, stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And so it's an incredible event. The students are able to interact in a hands-on environment, in a hands-on way directly with our exhibitors. It's a whole lot of fun, and it's a whirlwind. So this year, of course, due to the novel COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, we've had to move our program totally online and totally virtually. So instead of having just one day event, we've decided to host a series of live streams throughout the month of November. So we started this way back on November the 2nd, if you can believe it. So we're already 3 weeks into this. It's been a whirlwind, absolutely. And we'll be wrapping it up here on November the 24th. So we have and are very excited to announce that we have about 4,500 students who registered for this virtual Discovery Festival from all across New Mexico. So not just students who could drive to the convention center on one day out of November. So welcome to all of our students. Welcome to all of our teachers. We are so happy that you are all here participating in this virtual space. A couple of ground rules as we get started. First up, of course, if anything happens to our live stream, if there's an outage, if the internet goes out, or my computer decides to melt down, so far I haven't had any problems at all, but hey, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that's not going to start happening. But if it does, don't worry, just go right back to this BBBS CNM YouTube page, the one that you're on right now. Just go right back to that YouTube page, and we'll have the live stream up and running shortly. So if anything happens, please do that. Also, please type into the YouTube chat any kind of questions that you have, anything that comes up during the presentation. Teachers, if you're streaming this video into your Google Classrooms or wherever you're watching from, please be sure to send us your questions, anything that your students have comments on, anything like that, into our YouTube chat. That's how we're going to be able to ask our presenters live on air all these questions that your students have. And we can hopefully keep it engaging for them in that way. Tell us where you're watching from. I love hearing that kind of information. Very exciting and very fun. As always, I do also want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors for this event. Really and truly what you're watching today would not be possible without their support. And so thank you so much to our Da Vinci presenting sponsor, Honeywell. Honeywell is a community partner of ours for many, many, many years, and they are fantastic. And we are so happy that they're joining us again for this 2020 event. Honeywell gave 2 fantastic presentations this past week. You can, of course, view all those presentations by visiting our website, discoveryfestnm.org. And you can view recordings of all of our live streams, which includes, of course, Honeywell. So thank you so much, Honeywell, for your sponsorship and your support. To our Curie sponsor, Fidelity Investments. Fidelity is also one of our presenters for this year. They spoke about why save and what is credit, things that even as an adult that helped me out a lot. And you can view those recordings again on that same website there, discoveryfestnm.org. And thank you so much, Fidelity, for your partnership this year. Fidelity always has a fantastic booth. They usually have a three booth long event with lots of engagement and excitement for our young people. We are so happy to welcome them back into 2020. To our ride sponsors, to Aztec Machine and Repair out in beautiful Bloomfield, New Mexico, to Air Force Research Laboratories. They presented this past Tuesday. They talked about satellites. It was an amazing, amazing presentation. So thank you so much, AFRL, for doing that. To our Newton sponsors, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. This event, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, or as we like to call them, DTRA, presented this past week about, to all of our middle schoolers. They're getting a special presentation together for our high school students. So if you're in high school or you know a high schooler, please encourage them to watch the Defense Threat Reduction Agency's presentation, DTRA. It's always a mouthful. I always trip over it. So DTRA's presentation at 9:30 a.m. on Monday the 23rd. So please check that out. To Kirtland Air Force Base, they're presenting actually Monday as well at 11 a.m. So be sure to check that out. Micronet Solutions, Sandia National Laboratories, And to all of our heroes at Presbyterian hospitals, thank you so much for your sponsorship. Awesome. I think that might be all of my announcements here. I'm just getting some things set up on my end. I have a lot of screens open, as many of us do right now during this crazy time in this crazy pandemic. But I do want to welcome our guests on for this afternoon's live stream. I've babbled for way too long, so I'd like to please welcome to the live stream Steffi Weisberg of the School of Engineering at UNM. Hey, Steffi, how are you?
Great. Thank you, Will. How are you?
Doing really well. Thank you. Steffi, again, like I said, I ramble for far too long for these presentations. I'm going to turn it over to you. Students and teachers, please keep asking those questions inside the chat. I know Steffi has some questions for all of you as well. So please be sure to send your responses there inside the chat, and we will see you in a little bit.
Great, Will. Are you seeing my screen correctly?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. And I just like if you could put in the chat, the YouTube chat for me, whether you guys are mostly in high school or middle school, that would be really useful. So my name is Steffi, and I work at the School of Engineering at UNM, and we also have Elsa Castillo. She is a director of our Engineering Student Success Center. She's in charge of financial aid and scholarships, and she's going to tell you about admissions and a bunch of other stuff. And then we have Jenny Lee Zhao, who is an engineering student, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what it's like to be an engineering student. But first, I'm going to give you a little bit about what engineering is about, give you some peeks of what's in UNM, and if we have time, I can tell you a little bit about some of the research projects that we do there. So one question, what do engineers do? I'm going to wait a few minutes and see if you guys can give me some answers to that, and then Will's going to be like we're talking telephone. We'll see how he can say them to me. Is that right, Will?
Yes, yep. We're waiting for a couple more. I believe they just got the question now, so waiting for some answers there. Okay. Looks like some of the answer responses we got are that engineers, they make things. Engineers do engineers do science. Engineers use a lot of math. Yep, absolutely, that's for sure. I know we learned a little bit about mineral engineers earlier today. So
oh, you did. That's great.
Yep, shout out to New Mexico Tech for that. Yeah, so those are the responses we have now. Engineers make things. They use a lot of math, and they can deal with minerals sometimes.
Okay, that's right. So they do make things. They design and they build all kinds of things. You look around you, wherever you are, an engineer had something to do with almost everything that's in your room. So here's some examples of
and
things
engineers make cars. Sorry about that. We got
they do make cars. Look at this car here. Does anyone know where this car is? And who made it? That car was made by a company called Tesla. Then the engineer in charge of that company is Elon Musk, and that's a real picture. He launched that car, that Roadster, out into space, and you can look on the internet and see a webcam of that car. And he's amazing. He started this whole company to help us transition to clean energy faster. And so that he made a whole company to do that. So engineers also make things like this prosthetic arm. That's a biomedical engineer. There's this bendable phone, which you might, if we have time, we can talk about that. And also engineers, they solve problems. On the left here, you see dirty, icky water, and there's 1.8 billion people in the world that don't have access to clean water. That's a really big problem. And our lifespans now over the last 200 years have increased because most of us do have clean water, and engineering is really important for that. Those are civil engineers. Over here in the middle, you see people who are reading by candlelight. They don't have access to electricity. There's 1.2 billion people in the world who don't have that, and 18,000 of those people live in New Mexico. You can also see over here, this is the Taos Gorge, and some engineer got tired of walking down that gorge and walking up, and so a civil engineer built a bridge to go across that. And then down here, you see there's rust. So a chemical engineer invented paint that prevents the rust. But there's some other things about engineers that might kind of surprise you that engineers do. They also fail, but they fail successfully. And that's called the engineering design process. I know when we all go to school and everything, we think, oh my gosh, we don't want to make any mistakes. But in real life, the better you make mistakes and learn from them, the better you'll do. You're not as scared of making mistakes, and you can learn from them. And this is an example of the Dyson. I don't know if any of you have a Dyson vacuum cleaner, but his final model that he sold was his prototype 5217. He made 5,217 vacuum cleaners before he came up with one that he was really happy with. And in this quote, you can see that his family was not, they were behind him, but they were living with very little money while he was doing it. But now he's very successful. Another famous example is Edison, who invented the light bulb. And he said he didn't really fail. He just learned 10,000 ways to not make a light bulb. Another thing that engineers do that might surprise you is they copy. And they do build on ideas of other engineers and scientists, but one of the things that they copy from the most, and this is a secret, so don't tell anybody, is from nature. And here you see some of the faculty here at UNM. Here's Dr. Jeff Brinker, and I'm going to talk about the very first thing that he invented. He came here from New Jersey, and he started in Sandia Labs, and he had to wait for a security clearance. So they had him sitting in a room for a week. And here he comes to New Mexico with all these tumbleweeds. And he was sitting there and he started thinking about the structure of a tumbleweed, how it's very dendritic, it's like a tree. And that helped him come up with the idea for making this material, which is an aerogel. It's the lightest material on Earth. And they had been making them under a high pressure, high temperature, but there had been an explosion in a factory in Europe. And so he was trying to find a way to make it at room temperature and lower pressures. And using the structure in the tumbleweed, he thought of a way. And for many, many years, he kept that tumbleweed pinned up above his desk. Here's another example of Dr. Sang Han. He's also in the chemical and biological engineering department. He used the way that the structure that was on a beetle, the nanostructure, tiny, tiny little structure, as a way for developing a paint. And the paint reflects light in such a way that inside anything that coats, that the paint is coating, the temperature goes down by 4 degrees. This is Melanie Moses. She's in our computer science department, and she studies ants and how they communicate when they are looking for food. And then she puts that information, she programs it into the robots, and they can be used for, let's say there's been a natural disaster and she wants the robots to find people or resources, and she has them talk to each other. So here's a little video about her group.
These are eye ants. The eye ants have an onboard iPod on the top, hence the eye. These eye ant robots are completely autonomous, so they are not guided by any pre-programmed control structure. We simply plug them in, turn them on, and let them go.
So these robots are an example of the kind of real-world applications that students with programming experience and programming skills can develop. We're taking new ideas, we're putting them into robots and trying to get those robots to adapt to real world conditions.
So we spent several years observing ant colonies in the wild. We took those behaviors that we observed and we programmed them into the robots in order to generate the behaviors that you see today. These iAnt robots start at a central nest, which is represented by this lantern here. They disperse from the nest in random directions, and they are looking for food, digital food, which is these QR codes here. When they find one of the QR codes, aka digital food for the robot, they will search the surrounding area, trying to identify how many additional QR codes are in that space. In general, once they read the QR code, they will return back to this nest, this lantern here, and that is the point at which they will communicate with the other robots in order to recruit them back to that food source.
This project really represents an interdisciplinary collaboration between students in different departments. So we have students from biology whose focus is on understanding the behavior of ants. We have students from computer science whose focus is understanding how to turn behavior into an algorithm, into code that can be programmed. And then we have students who are engineering, physically building the robots. So this really exemplifies, I think, the direction that we're going in higher education, where students learn not just one discipline, but how to take the skills they learn in that discipline, interact with students who have other skills to develop a project or a product that can be used in the real world in multiple different ways.
So Dr. Moses said some very important things about collaborating with people in different disciplines. And, you know, in the real world, that's how things work. People with different ideas and backgrounds and knowledge come together to solve problems. And we have a lot of problems in the world. And so we all need to be able to collaborate together, to work in teams, to communicate, and to create things together. And a lot of times the engineers have clients that they need to do that too. Dr. Moses also talked about students working in her lab, and in a lot of our research programs, you can start as early as high school. The pandemic is confusing that a little, making it a little more difficult, but when that is resolved, we can have high school students working for us again. So here's some examples of how engineers collaborate on different projects. This one over here is actually my daughter made the costumes, and these dancers, they wanted the patterns to change when the dancers came close together or apart. So she had to put proximity sensors in there, and she had to understand what the dancers wanted. So she had to be able to talk to them. Here's an example of civil engineers again making a bridge, and of course their clients were people who owned the land there, a municipality. So they had to listen to what the municipality wanted, what kind of aesthetics they wanted, how high the bridge had to be, how tall the ships were who went under. And of course, here is a man who is taking his blood sugar because he has diabetes. Now, if that monitor device really hurt a lot, or if it cost $100,000 or was big as a house, he probably wouldn't use it. So the engineers had to talk to him to figure out what kind of device he would actually use. And here's some more examples of these kinds of engineering at UNM. In electrical engineering, here we have Stacy Hernandez, who is part of our HESO group, Hispanic engineers and scientists. And she had an internship with Meow Wolf in electrical engineering. And so we also offer internships at UNM, which is a wonderful experience. And we also offer these research experiences. Even if you don't want to go into research, it's great to be in a lab because you get to be with older students, you get to know a professor really well, and you get to see the things that you're studying in your class, why it's important, why you're learning those things, and how they can be put together into projects that will help your community or help your world, or just be really cool. Here's another group we have at UNM. It's Engineers Without Borders. So for civil engineering, they've come down to Bolivia and they've made a clean water system for this village that didn't have one before. And then on the right, here is Dr. Heather Canavan. She had breast cancer, and while she was trying to take a shower and do other things, she was having trouble reaching for different things in the shower. And she thought, why isn't there an invention that will help her deal with that? And so when she got back to school, she started a class, and then eventually with her students started a company called Adaptive Biomedical Design. And her idea generators are people who are patients or who have disabilities. And so they are solving problems. And one of her students here is Ty Martin, who is great. And we have a little video about him.
So biomedical engineering is actually aimed in a bunch of different areas. This particular protein is one that's found in Alzheimer's disease. I have muscular dystrophy, which is a slow progression of muscle weakening over time. And so I've always been motivated to figure out, what is involved in that disease and how can I make it better. So basically this degree program is personal for me. So I have a lot of personal motivation to keep going and move forward. I think the Center for Biomedical Engineering is a really good department, and there's a lot of really good mentors here in the department. Some of the main challenges I've faced as a student here are having issues typing or working on my computer over time. Actually, one of the classes I'm in this semester, we're focused on developing things to help with that. And so we've developed a product that's going to help me to type at different angles and be able to actually work efficiently. Once I graduate, I'm looking to work more on adaptive biomedical devices that can help with anything from patient care treatment to just day-to-day living with a disease like muscular dystrophy, but also to start getting experience in lecturing or teaching classes and hopefully move towards being a professor in the next 5 or so years. My sister actually got her degree here. And so it almost has family ties in a way, which makes it, a place that I want to continue working at.
If you're interested in going to medical school, coming through engineering is a great way to get into medical school because you can do internships in biomedical engineering. You don't have to compete for doing research in biology. So if you're good at math, that's a great alternative. Here we have I'll show you some of the other departments. Here's nuclear engineering. This was during our summer program last summer for high school students. And here was a tour. We actually have on campus a nuclear reactor. It's not very big, but it does turn on a light bulb. And of course we have computer science, and this is, I just saw this today. I'm going to go to this. You guys are welcome to go too. It's a talk on artificial intelligence revolution, robots, video games, and drugs that Lydia Tapia is going to do. She's a really great teacher. And then we also have environmental engineering, and we have a huge group that's the Center for Water and Environment, because water is such a big issue for us here in the Southwest. And this is Christina Salas. Her lab is actually on North Campus in the medical school. She works with biomechanics, and she works with surgeons to help them improve their surgery. So it's kind of gross. She takes cadaver parts and she hits them in different ways, and she figures out better ways of doing surgery and using different materials for the surgeons to keep things together. Here you see she led our engineering COVID response team, and she's made these 3D printed masks for people, and they've brought thousands of them to the Navajo Nation to help the response to COVID. Our biggest department is mechanical engineering, and although we don't have an aeronautics and astronomics department, you can take everything you need for that within mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering deals with things that move, whereas civil engineering, everything is pretty stable. But the things that move can be really tiny, like these MEMS devices, these tiny little gears that could be in your phone as part of an accelerometer, or they can be really big things like this this isn't that big, but this roller coaster. So if you've ever been on a roller coaster and you've gone really fast around and the car's gone off and you didn't die, then you have a mechanical engineer to thank for that. At UNM, we also have students can participate in these group projects. So you can be in the UNM Solar Splash team, which is a solar boat, and you compete with other schools. You can also be part of the Lobo launch. So that's where you get a lot of aerodynamics. And of course, one of our most popular programs is our race car program. And here's a little quick video about that.
As part of our senior design project for mechanical engineering, we design, build, and test a Formula SAE vehicle to compete in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's a car mimicked after Formula style engineering and design, but it's student built. So that way there's some rules that are implemented on it for safety. So we aren't allowed to go as fast as an F1 car. It's all about acceleration, handling, braking. This is a 3-semester program. So we spend about 1.5 years from start to finish with this. We get about 6 months overlap with the previous team, trying to learn what they did, figure out the decisions that they made so we don't repeat mistakes. But it takes us 1.5 years to design, build, and test. We are running a KTM 450. It's out of a dirt bike, but we do have a turbo on it. Car weighs about 460 pounds. And so that gives us a power to weight of 0.18. We go from 0 to 75 meters, which is about 0 to 60 in a little over 4 seconds. We can corner almost at 2 Gs, and we brake at about the same as well. The whole body is made out of carbon fiber, and we make that in-house. We make some of the molds ourselves. Some of the molds are CNC'd. We work with the community with some of that, and then we make the carbon fiber ourselves. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty quick, and when you're that low to the ground, it seems a lot faster than you really are going, but it's quite a thrill, and it's a lot of satisfaction in seeing what you've built come to life.
And of course, they compete with other schools too. And now they have an electric car, and electric cars can accelerate a lot faster than the gas-powered car. The fastest production car in the world is the Tesla S under performance, under ludicrous mode. And that goes 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. So they're going to have a lot of fun with that electric car. So right now, I'd like you all to tell me, we talked about engineering solving a lot of problems. These are the United Nations Grand Challenges, and engineering can be used to solve a lot of those. I'd like you now to please write in your chat what you think the most serious problems facing your generation is, what the #1 problem is that you guys are worried about. And I'll take a few minutes, well, a minute.
Okay, we did get some responses in. We got several responses for climate change. We're also getting responses for COVID-19 and just pandemic in general.
Mm-hmm. And the two are actually related. The way we're treating the planet and getting closer to wild areas, and climate change is causing animals to move their geographic locations, so they're moving into where we live as well. The two are definitely related. And then also when there are like climate fires and stuff, we get pollution in the air, and that makes people more vulnerable to COVID-19. So the two are definitely related. But I'm going to take the climate change because that's an issue I feel very passionate about. And I don't know if you guys have seen this map, but 20% of the Earth is already warmer than 1.5 degrees C, and that's the threshold that scientists tell us is we really would like to stay below, because things will get a lot worse. And I'm sure you guys have seen this Keeling curve is what it's known. It talks about how much carbon dioxide there is in the air. And fortunately, this is one problem that engineering can do quite a bit to help solve. And one of the research programs that we have at UNM is called QUEST. It's solar energy, and it's one of the programs that I work on that's called Engineering Research Center. And it's these are really great programs to be involved in because they're connected to other universities. So starting from, we have high school undergrad, graduate students, and they get to meet other students from all these other universities. All these researchers are working together on all different aspects of this problem. And it had been that our high school students at the end of the summer, when they did their research, they would then get to go to ASU and present their findings in a poster session. But with COVID and everything, that's not going to happen this year. We're interested in solar, of course, because it's just got so much potential. Free fuels. The size of these circles tell you how much energy there is in every of each kind. And of course, solar is basically infinite versus all these other alternatives, which there's a finite amount. Right now, in the New Mexico, we mostly make our electricity with coal, but that is changing really fast. There's a new law called the Energy Transition Act, which means that basically by 2040, we're going to have all of our electricity coming from renewable sources, clean. And New Mexico has a lot of potential. We can make the cheapest renewable electricity in the United States. And another thing that people are doing is trying to move our transportation all to electric, because that's a way that we can get rid of gasoline and all the emissions that are away from that. So if we do that, then and we move all of our electricity production to solar and wind, it will be really clean. So there's a lot of people working on solar energy and in a lot of different forms. Some solar is very thin, called thin film. They can make solar and glass. You can make it be really hard. It'd be part of the roadway system. This is a very famous graph that the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Boulder, Colorado puts out every year. And it shows all the different types of approaches to making solar cells. The kind that you buy to put on your roof is made out of silicon, just like what you see on your integrated circuits and stuff that go in your phone. But there's all different kinds. We have a company in Albuquerque called Solera, and they put up half of all the solar cells that go up into space. And those cells are made out of different kinds of materials called gallium arsenide. They also have solar cells that are made like sandwiches, and each material has a different spectrum, wavelengths of the solar spectrum that they absorb. So they have a lot really good efficiency. And efficiency is basically how much electricity you get out compared to the amount of sun that goes in. And obviously, we really want to get the most efficiency as possible. But you can make solar cells from all kinds of things. These dye-sensitized solar cells, for example, those you can make out of blueberries, which is really kind of cool. At UNM, in the program that I work with, this is called a molecular beam epitaxy reactor. And we have 4 of those, and they basically they make these huge vacuums, and it's like being in outer space. And what it does is it allows Professor Ganesh Balakrishnan to grow these solar cells one atomic layer at a time. And usually when you put different materials on like that, they have different, the atoms in the crystals are at different distances, and that causes strain and cracking, and it's really bad for the solar cell. But he pioneered a way to do it so that they don't have that strain and stress and defects. This kind of looks like an undersea old kind of diver suit, doesn't it? These are some of the high school students and teachers and undergrads we've had in our lab down there. And this is CHTM, that stands for the Center for High Technology Materials. So at UNM, we have a bunch of different research centers where people come from different backgrounds and they work together on one common problem. So CHTM focuses on optical devices. So in addition to solar cells, we have lasers and fiber optics, anything that deals with that. Another thing to get people to adopt solar is something that these two wonderful people, Elizabeth and Robert, do. They founded the Land Art Generator Initiative, and they hold these contests all over the world where they get people to design renewable energy art installations. And here's two examples of solar installations. This one on the bottom is in Dubai. And all of these are solar cells, and they are in these spheres that represent different planets at the time, in the configuration of the time when Dubai was founded. So they came to our summer camps this last summer, and they gave our students a challenge to design different solar configurations for Fly Ranch, Nevada. And these are some of the designs that our students came up with. So this prison over here on the top of the yucca, this takes different frequencies or wavelengths from the sun, and it aims them down onto solar cells on the yucca. And one of my favorites is this beehive where they have little drones that are flying between the hives, and where they get to charge up. So it's about 1:44 now. I have more things I can show you, but I'm going to ask Will what he thinks, how we're doing time-wise, whether I should stop here or if I should continue a little bit more. What do you think,
Sure.
Will?
Yeah, I think we have a couple more minutes. We can finish up this presentation. We did get some questions in, so I can save
okay.
those until the end, then, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Or wherever you'd like those questions to go.
Okay, well, why don't I just finish up really quickly? I'll just show you that, briefly go over two of our other research projects that we have that are also these big ones. This is called Seastar, and this is about turning natural gas into gasoline. It's personally not something I think we need to do because we have this huge natural methane cloud over New Mexico, and solar and wind is getting so much more cheap, less expensive than these other types of energy. However, if you're a teacher out there and you would like some students from all these universities to come do a chemistry demonstration remotely, obviously, you can contact Maeve at Purdue right here, and you can arrange for them to come and do that. They're really great students. So, and if you can't get it down now, that's okay. I'm sure Will can help contact me and I can get you that information. The third big program that we have is printing flexible circuits, and they're marrying these old time printing called gravure printing, which has been around for 600 years. Only they're using these nano inks that are conductive inks. And they're doing that because it's a way to make folding phones. The reason your phone is hard and rigid is because of the battery, and most of the components are also hard and rigid. But now everybody wants flexible phones because of virtual and adaptive, oh no, now I forgot what that's called, augmented reality. And that people will want big screens, but they won't want to carry them around. So they're thinking that we need to bend them. And this is some of the students from there went to the Consumer Electronics Show. So that's what people are working at for this. And here's some examples of applications where everything is going to be flexible, including solar cells and in wearable, all kinds of wearable electronics. This guy from Northwestern, John Rogers, he does the most amazing things where you can have printable monitors. This situation, this is when kids are born and they're in the natal ICU. They have all of these wires on them, and it's really hard to pick them up and to hold them, and they need to be touched. So he developed this this little monitor that is flexible, and so the babies can go home and they can record all the vitals that they need to get, and they can still hold the baby. So that's really neat. And then here, just my last thing, I'll show you this quick little video of how they print some of these sensors and electronics in industry. Okay, so I will stop sharing and maybe I can answer some of the questions really quick.
Yeah, great. Okay, so big shout out. I know we have some of our high schools who are watching right now. So thanks for our high school students who are watching this. Teachers, keep those questions coming for us. So some questions that we got in, it's kind of a neat one. So you were talking about the air foam in the beginning that was developed by one of the professors.
The aerogel?
The aerogel, yeah. So one of the students wants to know, what can the air gel be used for?
Oh my gosh, it's a really good insulator because it has billions of tiny, tiny little nanopores so that hold air. It's also been used by NASA to capture little particles from comets. So those are two real examples. There's actually a company in Albuquerque called Nanopore, and they use it for insulation for mailing things. And then the things that Jeff Brinker has done with modifications of that, he's done all kinds of things. He's even sent, basically sent in the space shuttle a long time ago, he sent it up in space with yeast cells in it. And they survived radiation damage and everything, but they didn't survive an afternoon in a graduate student's car. They left it out in the trunk. But yeah, there's tons of applications they use it for. Good question.
Yeah, and this is a kind of a funny question as well. It's pretty great. So can all engineers build robots?
Can what?
Can all engineers build robots?
No, because I can't build one, but but you can learn how to, yes. And yeah, we have 3 professors where that's their primary thing that they do. And interestingly enough, they're from different departments. We have 1 in ECE and 2 in computer science.
Awesome. And this one's a good one. And I don't know if there's a common baseline, but this student would like to know, what kind of math do most engineers use?
Well, I don't know, maybe Jenny Lee would like to answer that since she's a student.
Yes, of course. For me, at least, I'm a computer engineering major, and I have to do a lot of calculus, a lot of differential equations, algorithms, matrices. That's basically for my degree. I am not too sure about the other degrees, but we do all have to take Calc 1, 2, and 3, all engineering degrees.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for that. And so right now, and this is a really common question that we've gotten throughout the virtual exhibits, that this student would like to know, because of the current pandemic we're in right now, are all classes virtual for the UNM School of Engineering right now?
Elsa, why did you guys answer?
Actually, I can answer that one. Not all the courses right now are virtual. Some of them are hybrid, as a matter of fact. However, because of the Thanksgiving break, we're actually going to be going virtual from technically from this week through the end of the semester. But we have been having in-person courses. As a matter of fact, one of the labs was being held in our Centennial Engineering Center, was a lab for, it's a Engineering 195, which is a math for engineering course. And the laboratory was held over there in person. We just decided to do more sections, less students, 6 students at a time, the 2 instructors. So smaller classrooms are being beneficial for the students, and they are happening. And there will be the option. Some percentage of courses will be hybrid next semester, especially those that require hands-on activities.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And one final question that's coming in is asking for you could talk a little bit more about civil engineering.
Well, I don't know, maybe Elsa, do you want to take that one? I'm not sure.
I could probably do that. The civil engineering department, pretty much at the University of Mexico, offers 3 degree programs and 4 graduate degree programs. The 3 degree programs, what we offer is civil engineering degree, construction engineering, construction management, which is less of the engineering side of things. But at the graduate level, they do offer environmental engineering. So you can see civil engineering is not only building bridges or setting up a structure or a tower or so. Civil engineering actually has diversified in the last few years. They also do a lot of material composites. They also do a lot of drones, as a matter of fact, with sensors. And they also do a lot of believe it or not, a lot of biomaterials are happening. I have civil engineers working with the School of Medicine, as a matter of fact, or the dentistry schools. They investigate on the composites and the material that goes into, for example, a filling for your tooth. So civil engineers have diversified. And I always say, I with all respect, I love architecture, but I said the architecture is, usually allows students to design and make it look, they focus on the design. The engineers are going to be the ones making sure, let's say, you are building a bridge, how beautiful it's going to look as an architect, but how to make sure that the bridge is not going to fall is the civil engineer. So that's pretty basically what a lot of the civil engineering does. A lot of the calculations, they engineer, like Stevie was mentioning before, they engineer the structure itself. And then their innovations are going not only, as I mentioned, into construction, but also into now other fields. So I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, I think that was great. Okay, awesome. It looks like those are the questions that we have for now. I think you have part 2.
So part 2. So I'm going to go ahead with part 2 because it's how you want to get into the UNM, how to get into UNM, what type of scholarships you could be getting if you come to UNM. So I'm going to try to share the screen here. And this is part 2, pretty much. Pretty much I'm going to go over the type of degree programs we have available in the School of Engineering, how to apply to UNM, scholarships and financial aid, and the overview of some K-12 opportunities we have offered through the UNM School of Engineering. We have 6 academic departments. Steffi went through all of them with the details on what each of them do. However, we offer 10 degree programs at the undergraduate level, which is chemical engineering degree program, which is under the chemical and biological engineering department. We also have a Bachelor of Science in civil engineering, construction engineering, or construction management. We do not have a bachelor's in environmental engineering, but students can do a civil engineering degree with a focus on environmental. That's happening. But at the graduate level, we do offer the environmental engineering. Then we have in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, we have 2 degree programs, which is electrical engineering and computer engineering, 2 different degrees. And Jenny, as a matter of fact, is a computer engineering student. And we also have a science degree, which is the software and programming side of things. And we also have mechanical engineering. We do not offer aerospace. However, one of the focus areas for our faculty research is actually aerospace as well. And we do offer a graduate degree online in aerospace. Now, one of the important things there in mechanical in particular, they do have 4 areas for senior design projects. So students, for example, can build a car, a race car. They can actually build a rocket, or they can also build a solar boat. So that's in addition to the regular design project that most majors will require the seniors to conduct. We also have nuclear engineering degree program. Is one of the top programs around the country, and I highly recommend to check it out as well. We are one of the few campuses. Actually, we do have a nuclear reactor on campus. It's not active, of course, but it's to show the students, some real life experience, and you can actually, we have set up tours to visit the nuclear reactor. How do you apply to UNM? Of course, the deadline is approaching for those of you who are seniors right now. It's December 1st for you. The deadline for priority deadline for admissions. However, the scholarships come along with it. Even though you may have applied to UNM already, it's not automatic, the scholarship. So I highly recommend you apply by December 1st for UNM scholarships, particularly for regions or presidential, which are highly competitive and require some extra essays. They have eliminated, by the way, for admissions purposes, the SAT or ACT for this year. So you don't have to worry about that part. Now, many of the scholarships require a FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. I highly recommend you guys do a FAFSA regardless and see if you will be eligible or not. If you can't do the federal FAFSA, UNM does accept the paper FAFSA, and that we can guide you through the process. Now, the School of Engineering is one of the few schools that actually within the university that offers additional scholarships for incoming freshmen. So you can be getting scholarships in the School of Engineering on top of whatever you are getting at UNM, regardless of what you're getting, I would say. And then we also have, if you end up wanting to enter UNM in the summer, we do have summer scholarships to support you that's separate from the regular fall and spring semester scholarships. And in June 1st, we have the engineering transfer or continuing scholarships. However, if you miss the deadline, the February 1st deadline that's only open to current high school seniors, I highly recommend you apply by June 1st at least, although you are going to be competing with a lot of all the students in the school overall. But so priority, always think about February 1st. Try your best to do your application for that one. If you miss it, it's okay, but it's not guaranteed. In February 1st, I always tell you a secret, is actually 80 to 90% of the applicants get the scholarship if you apply by February 1st. And then this is the link to the internal scholarships, I call them. In the School of Engineering, scholarships are open to all. Citizenship is not a requirement to apply for the general scholarships. It will be a requirement for certain specific grants that we have. For instance, we just received a grant from the National Science Foundation that's going to offer, it requires a FAFSA, students to be eligible for federal aid. And it will offer an additional $5,000 a year for 24 students within the School of Engineering. We also have scholarships through the New Mexico Space Grant Consortium or directly through NASA, and those require citizenship. So there are some that might require, but some, the general scholarships in the school through the general application that is due February 1st or June 1st do not require. The other one is the School of Engineering at UNM actually has a unique program. It's called the Engineering Student Success Center. I say unique because a lot of universities do not have a center specific to offer support services to our engineering students. A lot of universities will offer at the university level but at UNM Engineering, we actually have it at the engineering level, because we are aware that a lot of students at UNM and the UNM School of Engineering actually, they go through a very rigorous curriculum, and Jenny can tell you more about it later, but having a specialized tutoring, we have undergraduate research opportunities for our students. We offer career development activities. I'll talk more about that later, but academic success workshops for first and second year students. As a matter of fact, at 2 o'clock, we're going to be starting an Excel presentation to train the students on how to work in Excel, for example. It's just an example of what we do to make sure you know, to help you out with your courses, and offer 24/7 computer lab and free printing for our undergraduates. But going back to the career development activities, something we're very proud of. We work very closely with local corporations. We have sponsored internships and co-op programs during the fall or spring semesters, where we actually pay a little stipend. I call it a training stipend, because you go into your internship program already with funding, and then the company does the matching. The company will come in with the last, with the third month, or might want to keep you on for the rest of the academic year. So those are really good programs, but the first month or two are usually funded by UNM directly through our special sponsorships. Then we also have a summer research or internship opportunities, of course, and either working with faculty, working with our partners at the different grants. We're very proactive in our office to partner up with different professors across the School of Engineering and to create opportunities. We have opportunities with Purdue, with Stanford, with UT Austin, with Notre Dame. We just got another grant to actually sponsor some internships. I call it summer research experiences, internships at the 2 universities in Puerto Rico. It's going to be coming up soon for the next 5 years. So it's pretty exciting to send students over to do some research on renewable energy. That's going to be the focus of that particular grant. And then we also connect with a lot of local companies and UNM researchers, and get, first year and second year, you might say, I want to just focus on my school. I just want to build some relationships there. We will connect you with a mentor. We have a professional mentoring program, in addition to providing you some peer mentors as well. We do have peer mentors, but the professional you can choose to be in both. Have a senior student or a graduate student be your peer mentor, but you can also say, no, I also want to have a mentor from the Air Force Research Labs or from Sandia Labs. So we have a program like that, and that'll help you build those connections. Then getting involved while on campus, we highly recommend. We have an ambassador program in engineering since the year 2005 that has been growing. The students like Jenny herself, a lot of our scholars participate in different activities, but also represent us at they are the face of the School of Engineering, and you can be one of them, of course. And then we have over 30 student organizations. I'll show you very quick the organizations we have available, either interdisciplinary or major specific. And volunteering, have you volunteer in different outreach activities at schools or different events across the city, across the state, sometimes across the country. We might send students to help us, at different national conferences and do outreach activities there too. Or build your community service. These all help building your community service portfolio. Now you say, how do I apply to UNM? If you guys want to take a picture of this slide, it's important because it has the link to the UNM admissions office, the link to the UNM scholarships. Over here on the left, I have provided a link to the engineering scholarships, but the UNM scholarships is scholarship.unm.edu, and to the federal student aid, the FAFSA is studentaid.gov. I highly recommend you check it out, and especially if you're seniors, the deadline again, priority deadline, is January 5th. You might say, why is a priority deadline? Well, you can apply for federal financial aid year round. However, you will only qualify for the Pell Grant if eligible. Whereas if you apply by January 5th, you are taking priority, and there are limited funds that usually go to the universities, and they might be able to provide you some extra funding for work study or other grants that are only offered based on students meeting the priority deadline. This is some of the student organizations we have here in the School of Engineering, just an example of the interdisciplinary and major specific. And Jenny is going to tell you a little bit. She's involved with one of them, and but there are some that for anybody, for any interest. We even have Engineers Without Borders, for example, Steffi mentioned in one of her slides. They actually get to go overseas and they get to do a experiment, not, I wouldn't call it experiments, community service projects with the Navajo community, or they will go, like Steffi mentioned, to Bolivia, and they are exploring to go into Mexico as well, as I have heard. And all of these organizations give you a wealth of experience as well. And then next we have how you get, we have some opportunities, especially for teachers, counselors, students themselves. We do have campus tours and outreach opportunities. You can just send an email to tours@unm.edu if you would like to be part of a tour, or if you like, we have a recruiter dedicated to, to talk about UNM, show you the labs. We have virtual labs, virtual tours as well. So I highly recommend you get a hold of this. If you want to also take a picture of this screen, it has information on the person. We have a full-time recruiter that can help you with, setting up those tours and stuff. And then we also have free summer programs. I highly recommend for those of you going to 9th grade, 10th grade, or 11th grade, these particular programs. So far, the plan is to have them in person. Eventually, we might have to actually move to residential. So we do have the possible dates for the residential, for the virtual program. And we ran it already this way last summer and it was pretty successful. As a matter of fact, Jenny was one of the instructors for the game development course. We developed a different type of curriculum where we don't go online 100%. But we are really hoping if we can have, because there aren't very many students accepted into each of the cohorts. So I'm really hoping we're going to be able to do at least hybrid, because the experience is much different. And then we also, Steffi may have mentioned, we do have some high school internships. Some of the engineering research centers do accept the students. Maybe those are very limited. So very limited numbers of internships for high schoolers, and all depends on the university giving us the permission to open up the campus for students that are students who are not UNM students yet, underage. So with that, let me introduce you to Jenny Zhao, and she's gonna tell you about what her experience has been at UNM. Here you go, Jenny.
Hello, I'm Jenny, and I'm a junior in computer engineering at the University of New Mexico. And I chose UNM because when I was trying to look for a university with a good STEM program, I found that UNM was one of the top in the country. UNM has a world-class education at an accessible cost. For me personally, I am interested in machine learning and cybersecurity. And one of my goals is to actually increase cybersecurity awareness aside from publishing a research paper for these topics. When classes were still in person, I attended a lot of study meetings. I had a lot of opportunity to use UNM's resources like tutorings, workshops, events, and a lot more. There was actually one question about robots, and in the ECE department, we have a Y lab where you can play with drones anytime you want. And we also have a 3D printer that is available and free for you to use. The School of Engineering is really focused on the students' professional development and the student success. And this is just one of the reasons why I love UNM. Now that classes are all online, I still get to use some of UNM's resources, and that's because of the hardworking faculty, staff, and advisors for the School of Engineering. And one example is the Engineering Student Success Center, where we still offer tutoring, they still hold workshops, events, all online, of course. Doing schoolwork from home can get very challenging, but because of the support that we get from the faculty, the staff, and the advisors, I feel more confident in completing my degree. And the support is just amazing, and I commend the School of Engineering for their hard work and thinking out of the box to help students to the best of their abilities. and making some good out of this terrible situation that we are in. And with that note, I actually want to invite everyone to attend the School of Engineering virtual open house. This event is happening this coming Tuesday, November 24th at 10 a.m. And Elsa can give you more information about it.
Yeah, so I hope you can join us this coming Tuesday, November 24th, like Jenny mentioned, from 10 to 12. And we're going to have, a room for scholarships, financial aid. I have representatives from the UNM Scholarship Office and the UNM Admissions Office as well, and some opportunities specific for freshmen from across campus. We're also going to have representatives from my team that are going to talk about the student support services we offer. My internship coordinator will be there, or retention specialist will be there. But most importantly, we're going to have representatives from all the academic departments in the School of Engineering at UNM, and they're going to talk about the degree programs. There will be separate rooms, 8 different, workrooms. So you can actually join any of those Zoom sessions and, learn more about the School of Engineering, what we have to offer. So I hope to see you all there. And here is the link, by the way. Go to unm.edu/openhouse2020. And the last session will be this Tuesday, November 24th. Thank you. With that,
Great.
We have completed our presentation. So if there is any questions, please have them, let us know.
Great. Yeah, definitely. And just so you both know as well, we did share some of those links inside of our chat. So I see that we shared the apply.unm.edu link. So please check that out. Teachers, if you're watching, take that link, send it to your students. We also shared the scholarship link, of course, the scholarship.unm.edu there, and the FAFSA student link, and also even the Zoom link. We're sharing a lot of links inside that chat today. So teachers, if you're streaming this to your students, please copy those links and send them out to your students. We want to get them involved in the wonderful world of UNM. I'm a Lobo myself, and everyone's a Lobo down the right. So yeah, just a big shout out to UNM for coming on today. We have one question that's kind of common. We've talked a lot about dual credits throughout this month of our Discovery Festival. And so if students are taking dual credits right now in their high school programs, will those transfer over to UNM?
Yes, they should be able to transfer those. And one of the best parts is if they are coming as an incoming freshman into UNM, they should be able to actually get, let's say they are offered a scholarship as an incoming freshman, although they have taken already dual credits. They're not considered transfers. They're actually, the students are considered a new incoming freshman for scholarship purposes, which is great, And then you can come and learn more about that, more in depth, if you come to the open house. I will have an admissions representative right there.
Great.
So the dual credit classes in engineering, there's one in water, there's one in mechanical engineering, or like doing CAD and design. But there has to be an MOU with your school system. So APS has one, but you have to find out for your particular school system.
Okay, great. Yeah, look into that, students, please. I know that's it's a great program that I think has drummed up a lot of excitement throughout this month of November. And yeah, just so happy to have UNM on. Thank you all for joining us today.
No problem. And don't forget to check out the summer programs if you guys are not, graduating this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And as we wrap up here for this Friday of Discovery Festival, I want to give a couple of quick announcements here. Students, don't forget to check out, we have 2 more days of presentations. So Discovery Festival is not over just yet. We have Monday the 23rd and Tuesday the 24th of next week. So if you're looking for something leading up to your Thanksgiving break, please be sure to check that out. We have presentations from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency at 9:30 on that Monday. We have Kirtland Air Force Base is coming on at 11 a.m. Monday, and then Central New Mexico Community College is coming on at 1 p.m. that Monday. On Tuesday the 24th, we have Central New Mexico Community College coming on again. We have Arizona State University coming on at 1, and I think we're going to have time to squeeze in one more presentation. We're trying to get an extra special exciting exhibitor for that last day, and we're just trying to coordinate schedules now. So please stay tuned for that, students and teachers. And as always, I do want to close out by giving a final shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors here at that you see on your screen. Again, what you're seeing now for Discovery Festival would absolutely not be possible without their support. So thank you so much to our sponsors at Honeywell, to Fidelity Investments. Of course, Honeywell is our presenting sponsor for this festival. Thank you, Honeywell. And Fidelity Investments is our Curie sponsor for this festival. So thank you, Fidelity. Aztec Machinery Repair, Air Force Research Laboratories. Again, you can view their presentation from this past Tuesday on our website, discoveryfestnm.org. To the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, to Kirtland Air Force Base, Micronet Solutions, Sandia National Laboratories, and Presbyterian Hospitals. Whew, that's a lot of stuff and a lot of info, but please don't forget to join us again this coming Monday the 23rd. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you soon. Take care, everyone.